Howdy, hi. It is Teardrop Sports college basketball picks and predictions for Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. We are looking at the best bets of the day. Let's get into the video. All right, first things first, got to recap previous day's results. Overall, it was a pretty good day. We went 5-3. It should have been 6-2. Thanks to App State, it was not. They are now added to the banned list. We'll get to that in a minute, though. That brings our season record to 82 wins, 61 losses. Since we picked 3 games wrong, we add $3 per losing bet. That is $9 added to the giveaway fund, bringing our total to $27. All right, I want to recap these real quick, then we'll get on to the games we got for tomorrow. Not game number 1, but it was our first winning bet of the day. We took Tennessee minus 14.5. They played Rutgers. This game was realistically never even close. Final score, Tennessee 85, Rutgers 60. Tennessee 51% from the field, 50% from deep. They win the rebound battle by 15. They only win the turnover battle by 1. Rutgers' defense actually wasn't horrible. Tennessee couldn't miss from deep. You had Jacoby Gillespie drop 32 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. That's pretty good. Next game, we had the over 145.5, Liberty and Vermont. This got greasy towards the end. We had to keen in on some free throws, but they hit them. Final score, Liberty 79, Vermont 73. Vermont didn't really shoot the ball that well. Liberty just couldn't hit a free throw at the beginning of the game. They went 9 of 18 from the free throw line. That's not ideal, but they made them at the end when it mattered. They get it done. If you took them on the spread, you are not happy, as I think the spread was 8.5, and they won by 6. But I didn't, thankfully. I just took the over. We then had Baylor minus 3.5 versus Creighton. This was greasy. Final score, Baylor 81, Creighton 74. For the most part, Baylor dominated the entire game. Creighton did not have a lead for 1 second of this game. Not 1 second did they have a lead. But it was still really close at the end. I think it was a tie game with roughly 4 minutes left. Then Baylor holds them off. They win by 7. Baylor shot 43% from the field, 75% from deep. They win the rebounding battle by 1,000,000. They had 19 offensive rebounds compared to 5. That is the biggest difference with this Creighton team. Without Kalkbrenner down low, grabbing up the rebounds and playing defense, they simply don't have anyone to replace him. Like, it's tough to replace what was one of the best starting centers in all of college basketball, but they can't find anyone to be good down there. Next game, it was one of 2 of my favorite bets of the day. It was Elon plus 4.5 on the spread. That was at App State. They absolutely destroyed them. The final score was Elon 88, App State 53. So this is where I'll get into it. Elon was catching 4.5 points. The over-under was 143.5. You would assume if the road dog catching 4.5 points scored 88, that the over hit by 1,000,000. You'd be wrong, as App State only scored 53 points on their own home court. This was not a neutral site game. There was no travel. App State played this game at home. They shot 35% from the field, 26% from deep, and 48% from the free throw line. 11 of 23. This might be one of the worst offensive performances I have ever seen from a Division I basketball team at home. Elon was coming to them, and they got curb stomped by 35 points. Laying 4.5, you lose by 35. That was egregious. That is why they're on the ban list. This over should have hit. All they had to do was score 58 points. That's it. 56 points. That's all I needed. 56 at home. And you can't even do that. They suck. Then finally, our last winner was James Madison plus 2.5 on the road at FIU. They win. I still don't know why FIU is hosting James Madison in Omaha. They're going to lose both of these games. They're not intelligent for hosting this little mini tournament. You're dumb. FIU is not a good basketball program. James Madison spends a lot of money on their athletics, and you just paid them to come to your place and beat you by 8 points. Make that make sense. All right, now you got our other two losers besides App State over, which you already talked about. First one was Troy, -4.5. It looked really good at halftime. Troy was winning by 6, and then they just kept on shooting the 3 ball. Troy shot 40% from the field, but 18% from three-point land. They went 5 of 28. They won the rebound battle. They won the turnover battle. They lost the game because they just kept on chucking up three-pointers. It was absurd. Like, what are you doing? They went 21 of 37 from two-point land. 21 of 37. That is well over 50%. But they just kept on chucking up threes, going 5 of 28. Toledo really didn't even play that well. 46% from the field, 33% from deep. I already said they lost the rebound and the turnover battle. But they win the game by 7 because Troy just kept on chucking threes. And then by far the worst bet of the day was Ohio plus 6.5. They got absolutely housed. I mean, this was never close. Final score here, Ohio 69. Nice. George Mason 92. George Mason shot. They made 14 three-pointers. 46% from the field overall. Ohio loses the rebound battle, loses the offensive rebound battle, loses the turnover battle, loses the assist battle, loses basically everything. I mean, they got destroyed. That was a bad pick. I should probably stop betting Ohio because they suck. All right, that's how we go 5-3. Let's get on to the picks for tomorrow. All right, first game we got, it is ECU and Michigan State. This is an MTE. ECU is going to lose a lot of basketball games coming down the pipe here before they get into AAC play. Going up against Tom Izzo, this might be one of the best squads he's had in a while, which is weird because it's a relatively new roster for him. But yeah, I mean, ECU's awful. I will lay it with Michigan State -22.5. I would lay this all the way to 30. This should be a beatdown. East Carolina 2-3 on the year. Their wins were against Georgia Southern by 3, and then Elizabeth City by 1. That is a Division II school they beat by a singular point. They lost to Richmond by 15, UNC Wilmington by 25, and then Charleston Southern by 12. So they really haven't even played a legitimate team yet, and they're still 2-3. This is one of the worst offenses I've seen in college basketball. They shoot at 21% from three-point land, 68% from the free throw line. Every single year, Schwartz has one of the worst offenses in all of D1 basketball. Tom Izzo is 5-0. They have wins against Arkansas and Kentucky. This team, like I said, loses a decent amount of production from last year. They had, who was that guard that transferred? They had some dude transferred. They have 2 guys graduate. They return both of their bigs down low. They return their small forward. They get a really good freshman. Carr is still on the team. So, like, they're fine in that sense. But this is really just fading ECU. They are so bad at basketball. It's ridiculous. Next game. This is my second time this year betting Drexel. We're going to take them -7.5 at Morgan State. This line is disrespectful. I would have had Drexel laying double digits. Morgan State has been awful at basketball for a very, very long time. There was really not going to be any fans of this game. I mean, would you want to go to a Morgan State basketball game on a Tuesday prior to Thanksgiving at 7 o'clock? No. No, you would not. Drexel, 3-4 on the year. Their wins are over a Division II school by 34. New Jersey Institute of Technology by 32, who I think at this point of the year looks better than Morgan State. And then Old Dominion by 4. Their losses are to St. Joe's by 11. That's not horrible. Colgate by 7. Also not bad. Syracuse by 30. That one's meh. And then Penn by 18. They return 2 starters from last year's team. They bring in a transfer to fill in a guard spot. And then they bring in a European who's 7'1" and has played professional basketball overseas for 4 years. I like that. He should be able to do mean things to a Morgan State team who's not good. You got Spiker as the head coach. They're still looking for their first road win. I think they get it done. Morgan State, they're 1-5 on the year. Their only win came at home to a Division II school. They lost to Georgetown by 17, UMBC by 2, Mercyhurst by 14, North Carolina A&T by 7, and then Old Dominion by 32. So if we're just looking at the transitive property here, Drexel beat Old Dominion by 4. Morgan State lost to Old Dominion by 32. You do the math there and tell me who the better team is between these two squads. Morgan State can't shoot 42% from the field, 30% from deep. They don't play any defense. This team is bad. Give me Drexel minus 7.5. All right, the next two games we got, I don't have lines for. You're going to see this a lot this week with it being feast week. A lot of these teams are playing back-to-back games, so therefore Vegas isn't going to have lines out probably until like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. That's East Coast time, so like midnight Vegas time, which I cannot post this video at. So I got to get them out now. So I will take first one, Vermont with the spread. This is the losers game of the ESPN Invitational in Florida. It is Rhode Island and Vermont. I was actually pretty impressed with how Vermont played toward the end of the Liberty game. Liberty just shoots the ball insanely well from deep. That is something Rhode Island is not capable of doing. Rhode Island scored just 55 points against Towson in game 1. That is not good. Rhode Island and the Rams, 4-2 on the year. Like I said, they lost 62-55 in their first round game. In that game, they shot 13% from deep. 13. I thought we had a bad beat earlier with Troy shooting 18%. How do you go 3 of 28? They also had 15 turnovers. No, thank you. They lack a true big man down low. Their backcourt is also small. Both of their backcourt guys are under 6 feet. I didn't think that was possible for a team in the A10, but here we are. This is year 4 of Archie Miller. Normally they start off pretty hot, and then they go on a 3 to 4 game losing streak before they enter a 10 play, and then they start off and a 10 play. They win like 5 games. He makes you think they're a good team again, and then they fall off a cliff. So right now we're at that first dripping point. We're about to lose like 3 in a row, then they'll win some more, but they're not winning here. Vermont, first game, 79-73 to Liberty. They're 4-2. Their other 2 losses, Buffalo, Liberty. They returned 2 starters from last year. I like John Becker as a head coach more than I like, more than I like the Rhode Island squad. I'll take him on a back-to-back. Give me Vermont, whatever the spread is. If I had to guess, this opens Vermont minus 2.5. Rhode Island could open this as a favorite. I'd amount it's probably going to be a pick'em, so I will take Vermont. All right, next game, we also don't have a spread. I will take Bethune-Cookman, whatever they open up as. This is the other losers game in the Sunshine Classic in Daytona Beach. Stony Brook looked pitiful against Pacific. Bethune didn't look awful against Jacksonville in their opening game. They just couldn't put the ball in the hoop. Bethune, 2-4 on the year. Their wins over a Division II squad and then a true road game at Ohio. Their 5 losses are all bye games besides yesterday's game against Jacksonville. They are basically a 100% transfer team of all SWAC superstars. They are coached by the legend, Reggie Theus. They have an interesting lineup in the sense that they don't have a true center. They rotate a bunch of guys who are all in the height range of 6'3" to 6'8". They're very athletic. If they make their shots, I genuinely think they can beat any team in the country. They've played decent in 2 of their bye games. They took Auburn to overtime, and that was in the jungle. They lost to Dayton by 9 after having a halftime lead. If this team's actually cooking on offense, they can win against anyone. Stony Brook 4-2, but they're not good. They beat 2 Division II schools. Their other wins are against Brown by 10 and then Maine by 11. We know how bad both of those schools are. Their losses, Yale by 13. That's not great. That's not awful. And then Pacific by 27. That is not good. They're very young. They start 3 underclassmen. They really haven't hit the road this season. I do not see them being able to keep up athletically with Bethune, so I will take Bethune-Cookman on the spread. I'd imagine this one opens Stony Brook minus 3.5, maybe minus 4. I don't know. We'll find out. All right, next game we got. This one we do have a line for, and it is my favorite bet of the day. It is Rutgers plus 6.5. This is game 2 of the Vegas Invitational Players era nonsense. Notre Dame, they're coming off of that loss to Kansas. I think they put a ton of effort into that game, way more than Rutgers put into playing Tennessee. I like Peichel in a back-to-back coaching spot more than I like Shrewsbury. Give me the Scarlet Knights plus 6.5. I think they're live to win this on the money line. Rutgers, they've now lost 2 in a row. They dropped a home game to Central Connecticut. That is obviously not good. Then they got blasted in game 1 by 25 to Tennessee. Normally, Rutgers teams are always good on defense. That's just kind of the identity of a Peichel team. It is their offense that is complete ass. It's a lot like their football team. Defense, good. Offense, going to struggle. But thankfully, Notre Dame's in that same boat. This is year, 3 of Shrewsbury. It has not been going well for them. Notre Dame lost to Kansas by 10 in game 1, and that was a Kansas team without their star lottery pick Peterson. I think they're going to put more effort, they definitely did put more effort into that Kansas game. They should be pretty tired down low. Their entire team revolves around one guy. It's Burton, their point guard. Really short, athletic, junior. He's good, but I don't think he's good enough to revolve your entire scheme around. They struggle to shoot it from deep. If Rutgers can lock down Burton, I think they stand a chance to win this game. Give me Rutgers plus 6.5, favorite bet of the day. All right, next game we got is another one without a line. Give me Houston Christian on the spread. This reminds me of a lot from the James Madison play we had today. Why is Bellarmine inviting 2 teams to play on their own campus? It makes no sense. Game 1 was Bellarmine in the Citadel. Now game 2 is Houston Christian, Bellarmine, and then day 3 will be Houston Christian versus the Citadel. Houston Christian 3-1 on the year. They did beat 2 Division II schools. I'm not going to really read into that by much. Then they beat ULM by 11 at home. This is a new starting unit. They returned just 1 guy from last year's team in the starting lineup. They bring in 2 seniors, both of them from the Division II and or JUCO level, and then a transfer from Utah Valley State. This is year 2 of head coach Craig Doty. He's been a lower level powerhouse guy for a minute. This team's got size. They got seniority. They should be able to handle Bellarmine, who again just played the previous day against the Citadel. Bellarmine is 1-4. Now, at the time of me typing this up, they were currently playing the Citadel. They beat the Citadel, so they're now 2-4. Again, they're playing a back-to-back. I don't really care that it's at home. Houston Christian is by far and away better than them. Bellarmine's not good. Whatever Houston Christian is on a spread, I will take them. All right, then we got final game and the almost bets. Final game, Quinnipiac and UCF. Give me UCF minus 13.5. I'm surprised the line is this short. I think I would have laid this all the way close to 20. Quinnipiac coming off of beating Pitt on the road. Now they have to travel down south all the way to UCF. Quinnipiac just played Pitt on Sunday. So they have 1 travel day, and now they're going up against a Big 12 school. No thank you. Quinnipiac 4-2 on the year. Their 2 losses, St. John's by 34, Yale by 37. Their wins, Central Connecticut State by 22, Maine by 4, a Division II school by 1 billion, and then Pitt by 8. They're an old team. They got decent size down low, but when they go up against a real team, they lose. I mean, if you're losing to Yale by 37, UCF is only they're only laying 13.5. I don't think that's going to work. UCF 5-1 on the year. Their only loss was at home to Vandy by 8. They beat Texas A&M on the road. They beat Pitt at a neutral site by double digits. New portal team, but a lot of high major transfers. I think they're going to win this game comfortably, so give me UCF minus 13.5. All right, then we got the almost bets. Gonzaga minus 13.5. I will be betting this. I just don't like giving out West Coast games that have late start times just because I record this on the East Coast and I'd have to wait till a long time for that game to actually get done. But I will be taking Gonzaga minus 13.5. Next one, Indiana minus 8.5 against K-State. This is K-State's first time really playing someone this year, like a quality team of Indiana. I like the Hoosiers, but they really haven't also played a team of K-State's quality. So we'll take Indiana minus 8.5. We'll see what happens. And then Samford minus 5.5. I was going to lock this one up, but this line absolutely reeks. Samford is a much better basketball team than Georgia State. Why they're only laying 5.5, I don't know. I couldn't find anything on the injury report, but I had this game at minus 13. So it was so far of a difference, I'm not going to bet it. Alright, that's going to do it for me in this video. I appreciate you tuning in and watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.